Long before Spain reached the Philippines, before European maps even knew these islands existed, a golden kingdom ruled the seas of Southeast Asia. From the rivers of Mindanao, ships sailed across open oceans, gold flowed through trade routes, and distant empires took notice. This was Butuan, a kingdom so wealthy that gold was worn as art, so powerful that China recognized its rulers, so advanced that its ships crossed seas without maps. While history remembers stone empires, Butuan ruled through water. This is the forgotten story of the Kingdom of Butuan, the Golden Maritime Empire. Hey history lovers, quick favor before we start. If you enjoy today's video, please help me reach 500 likes and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing historical stories. This civilization did not rise through towering stone monuments or vast land conquests. Its power came from mastery of water, control of trade, and wealth drawn from the earth itself. This civilization was the Kingdom of Butuan. For centuries, Butuan's name faded from popular memory. Colonial histories reduced the ancient Philippines to scattered villages, waiting to be discovered. Yet beneath river mud and forest soil, another story waited. Gold slept in ancient graves, ships lay hidden in silt, and distant foreign records quietly preserved a name that refused to disappear. Butuan was not a footnote in history. It was not a minor port. It was a maritime power, deeply embedded in the ancient world. The foundation of Butuan's rise was geography. The Agusan River, one of the largest and most important river systems in the Philippine archipelago, flows from the mineral-rich interior of Mindanao to the open sea. This river acted as a natural highway, carrying gold, forest products, people, and ideas from inland communities to coastal ports connected to international sea routes. In the ancient world, rivers created civilizations. They connected distant lands, enabled trade, and shaped political power. Control of a river meant control of movement, resources, and communication. Butuan controlled the Agusan, and through it, controlled access between the heart of Mindanao and the wider maritime world. Human communities settled along this river thousands of years before written history. Over time, they learned to cultivate crops, fish efficiently, and extract metal from the land. These early societies were not static. They adapted, expanded, and organized themselves into increasingly complex social systems. By the early centuries of the Common Era, these communities had transformed into an organized political entity. Leadership structures emerged, specialized labor developed, trade expanded beyond local exchange into regional networks. Butuan had become a kingdom. What distinguished Butuan from other early Philippine societies was the extraordinary abundance of gold. Gold in Butuan was not rare. It was woven into daily life, ritual, and power. Archaeological excavations have uncovered gold rings, chains, earrings, pendants, ceremonial plates, and burial objects of remarkable craftsmanship. The precision of these artifacts reveals advanced metallurgical knowledge. Hammering, casting, alloying, and intricate design refined over generations. Gold was not merely a symbol of wealth. It was sacred. In Butuanon belief, gold represented purity, power, and spiritual continuity. Burial practices reveal this world view with striking clarity. Elite individuals were buried with gold placed on their eyes, mouths, and bodies. These acts were not displays of excess. They were spiritual preparations for the afterlife. Among the most powerful discoveries is the gold death mask of Butuan. This artifact is not only visually striking, It is culturally profound. It reflects a belief system in which identity, status, and spirituality continued beyond death. Such wealth did not remain hidden from the world. Chinese historical records from the Song dynasty provide direct written evidence of Butuan's international status. These records describe Butuan as an independent and prosperous kingdom, engaged in diplomacy and long-distance trade. In the year 1001 CE, the ruler of Butuan sent a formal diplomatic mission to the Chinese imperial court. This event places Butuan firmly within the recognized political world of East Asia. Participation in the Chinese tribute system required organization, resources, and legitimacy. It was not open to minor settlements. Butuan was treated as a sovereign polity. Through this relationship, Butuan traded gold and local products for silk, porcelain, iron tools, and prestige goods. Chinese ceramics found throughout Butuan archaeological sites confirm centuries of sustained contact. These objects are not random imports, they are evidence of structured, long-term exchange. Trade extended beyond China. Butuan was connected to the broader maritime network of Southeast Asia, linking it to Borneo, Java, the Malay Peninsula, and the Indonesian archipelago. Indian merchants traveled these routes, bringing goods, ideas, and belief systems. Hindu-Buddhist concepts entered Butuanon culture through exchange, not conquest. These ideas blended with indigenous beliefs rather than replacing them. Sacred symbols, cosmological concepts, and ritual practices merged into a spiritual system that was uniquely local. None of this global interaction would have been possible without ships. The most dramatic physical proof of Butuan's maritime power lies buried along the Agusan River. The Balangay boats. Discovered beneath layers of mud, these ancient wooden vessels date as early as the 4th century CE. They are among the oldest known plank-built boats in Southeast Asia and stand as one of the most important archaeological discoveries in Philippine history. The Balangay was not a simple craft, it was a technological achievement. Built without metal nails, its wooden planks were carefully fitted edge to edge and lashed together with plant fiber. This method allowed the hull to flex with waves rather than break, making it ideal for open sea travel. These vessels were large, capable of carrying cargo, warriors, and passengers across long distances. They were not fishing boats. They were ocean-going ships designed for trade, migration, and naval power. The discovery of multiple Balangay boats suggests organized shipbuilding rather than isolated construction. This implies the existence of shipyards, standardized techniques, and highly skilled craftsmen. Butuan was not merely using maritime technology, it was producing it. The sea defined Butuan's identity. Leadership within the kingdom reflected this reality. The Raja ruled not simply by inheritance, but through the ability to manage trade networks, maintain alliances, and protect maritime routes. Power was reinforced through wealth distribution, ritual authority, and military capability. Butuan's society was structured and specialized. Nobles and warriors upheld political authority. Goldsmiths and artisans sustained economic power. Shipbuilders and sailors connected the kingdom to distant lands. Traders acted as diplomats and cultural bridges. Farmers and fisherfolk ensured food security along riverbanks and coasts. Religion shaped every aspect of life. Indigenous belief systems centered on animism and ancestor worship. Rivers, forests, mountains, and seas were believed to be inhabited by spirits. Rituals were performed to maintain harmony between the human world and the spiritual realm. Ancestors were not gone. They remained active guides and protectors. Hindu-Buddhist elements enrich these beliefs, adding new layers of symbolism and cosmology. Yet the spiritual heart of Butuan remained deeply connected to land, water, and ancestry. A kingdom built on wealth and trade required defense. Butuan maintained warriors skilled in both land and naval combat. Iron weapons, spears, blades, shields have been found throughout the region. Rivers acted as defensive corridors, while fleets protected trade routes from piracy and rival powers. Butuan's strength was not territorial conquest, it was economic control. By managing movement rather than land, the kingdom exerted influence across vast distances without ruling vast territories. For centuries, this system worked. But history is shaped by change. By the 13th century, new political and religious powers rose across the southern Philippines. Islamic sultanates emerged in Mindanao and the Sulu archipelago. Trade routes shifted. Economic gravity moved toward new centers. Ports such as Cebu gained prominence. Later, Manila rose as a dominant hub in the north. Butuan's strategic position, once central, gradually lost importance. Trade bypassed the Agusan. Wealth flowed elsewhere. The kingdom did not collapse in violence. It declined slowly, quietly, as commerce moved on. Its people adapted, migrated, and integrated into new political realities. When Spanish explorers arrived in the 16th century, they encountered a landscape already transformed. Colonial chroniclers focused on Manila and Spanish-controlled regions. Butuan, no longer dominant, slipped from written history. Colonial narratives portrayed pre-colonial Filipinos as fragmented and undeveloped. These narratives ignored archaeology, dismissed indigenous achievements, and erased civilizations like Butuan from public memory. For centuries, Butuan remained buried. It was archaeology that restored its voice. Excavations uncovered gold treasures, burial sites, ancient ports, and the Balangay boats themselves. Each discovery confirmed that Butuan was once a sophisticated, globally connected civilization. The Kingdom of Butuan forces a rewriting of Philippine history. It proves that Filipinos were not passive recipients of civilization. They were active participants in the ancient world, sailors, engineers, traders, diplomats, and artists. Butuan was a maritime empire not because it ruled vast lands, but because it mastered the sea. Its legacy survives in Filipino seafaring traditions, craftsmanship, and cultural memory. The gold buried beneath its soil is not merely treasure. It is evidence of a civilization that understood power, spirituality, and global connection long before Europe looked east. The golden maritime empire of Butuan did not vanish. It was buried by time, silenced by empire, and rediscovered by truth. And in remembering Butuan, we reclaim a lost chapter of world history, one written not in stone, but in water, gold, and memory.